Hello my lovelies and welcome back to my channel. Today it's day 2 of our Reid Sew Along. Today we'll be sewing the hood and the shoulder seams and attaching the hood to the neck opening. If you're not doing a hood, today you'll be basically doing just the shoulder seams. We'll be covering steps 11 through 16 in the pattern, so adjust the schedule according to the style you're choosing. For this sew along, I'm actually going to be sewing 3 reeds. I managed to, with a little bit of creative color blocking, to get out of 1 yard of French terry coordinates, 1 main and a panel set, 3 hoods. So, well, 3 reeds. Only one of them has a hood. But I will cover as many options as possible within those 3. So for today, let's grab the hood pieces. You should have 2 pieces for the outer sides, 2 pieces for the lining sides. Mine are the exact same fabric, and 2 pieces for the center. First steps to create the hood will be exactly the same for all of us. So you want to make sure that if you're using a directional print, it goes the correct way. So you're taking 1 hood with the hood curve and you're going to be pinning your center along the curve. You're pinning a straight edge to a curved edge, so you will be needing to ease it in a little bit, but because it's drafty for knit, that will not be an issue whatsoever. This 3-piece hood lays very nicely on the head. It's my kiddo's preferred style. It's an extra step of work, but it's worth it because, especially with thicker fabrics, you don't want anything like pointing out on the head. The pattern follows a quarter of an inch seam allowance, so it's perfect to use your serger. If you don't have a serger or a cover stitch, not a big deal. Just make sure that you follow a quarter of an inch seam allowance on your sewing machine and you use a stretch stitch. So this is one side. You're going to be repeating the same thing with the other hood, mirror image, pinning it along the edge. And then optionally, you can go ahead and top stitch this down. For top stitching, you can use your cover stitch or you can use your sewing machine with a simple zigzag stitch. Not a too narrow one, use a wider zigzag stitch. Or you could also do a triple stretch stitch, but for top stitching the hood I wouldn't stress to use a triple stretch. I would do just a plain zigzag, a wide one. Okay, so as you can see, I like to pin from one end to a little bit, then a little bit from the other end. This way I get the curve correctly here on the, like the top of the head. So same thing. Try not to stretch anything while you're sewing. So this is your outer hood. This is what it looks like with the center and the sides. You can give it a good, and you should give it a good steam press to remove any waviness. And if you want to top stitch, go ahead and move to the, we're going to move to the cover stitch. And I have my unicorn main thread right in here. So beautiful, perfect for this print. Let's see if I can move you a little closer. Okay. And I'm going to top stitch the seam allowance towards the main. And probably the lining, I'll do it the other way. I'm using 2 needles and the wide one, but you can definitely use 3, especially if you want more like a decorative stitch. This is so beautiful. Look how beautiful is the stitching with the unicorn main. The waviness you see will go away once I press it. The seam allowance towards the sides of the hood for this one, and for the lining I'm going to press it the other way. This way it reduces the volume of the seam allowance. Okay. Again, once I steam it, it's not going to have this waviness here. So getting back to the serger, I'm going to repeat the same steps for the lining. In my case, the lining is the same fabric, but if you want to do lining with like a solid, you can definitely do that. And of course, I do encourage you to use pins, so you don't have any guessing work. I've done this pattern so many times that I'm comfortable not using pins, but if you're a beginner, definitely clip in place the way I showed you the first time. And the lining, I'm going to go ahead and top stitch it, but I'm going to top stitch the seam allowance towards the centerpiece. This way, when I put them together, the bulk is minimal. And again, you can definitely go ahead and give it a good steam press right now. So for the next step, this is where things will start to differ. If you're doing the hood doesn't have the placket, so on the solid front, now you'll be adding your binding, stitching right sides together and turning. My hood will have the binding, so right now I'm just simply placing it wrong sides together and pinning it in place. I'm not stitching right sides together because I will be adding a binding. So wrong sides together like so. Maybe I should cut some of this thread off. It would be helpful, right? Match your seams. Again, I'm doing the option that has the front placket like a Henley front. I am putting this right sides together like so, along the front opening, matching the raw edges, and again wrong sides together, wrong sides together because this is the placket option. If you're doing the regular hood option, you're going to be adding your band right now according to the pattern, sewing right sides together, turning, and you'll be attaching it to the neckline a little differently than I am, but easier. So that's why I figured I'll do this option because it's different than anything we've done before. We've added hoods during sew-alongs before, so there's always stuff to reference, but I haven't done this style yet. So this is the hood. Now I'm going to pin the neck opening. Same, matching the center parts, and just put it aside, pin for now. Just a couple of clips here and there to hold it in place. If you want to baste it, you can definitely machine baste this in place. Okay. We're going to set it aside. So once you've created your hood, we'll put it aside, and then we're going to grab your front and back pieces that have the neck opening. If you're doing the color block, just the top ones. If you're doing the solid, the whole piece. So this is the hood for now. Let's put it aside. And this is where I'll start working on 3 shirts at the same time. First one is going to be the one that I had the hood for. So right now I'm grabbing the back. All my shirts have a solid back. If yours is color block, then you grab just a piece that has the shoulder. So you'll be grabbing the front and back that have the shoulder seams. And in my case, for this one, I should have 2 because I am doing the Henley option. Where's my second one? Come on. So I have one. Oh, I had 2 of them already in my hand. I was looking for both of them, but they were in my hand. So we're going to place right sides together, matching the shoulder seams. And in my case, for the front, I have 2 pieces because I'm doing the Henley style with a hood. Okay, so this is shirt number 1, the Henley hood. So I'm matching the shoulder seams and I'm stitching the shoulder seams together with a quarter of an inch allowance. So this is what you should have if you're doing the Henley option with the hood, or without the hood you'll also be stitching it the same way at the shoulder seams. So now I'm taking the shirt and I'm finding the center back of the neckline and marking it. So find the center of your hood bottom right here at the neckline, not at the front, where the neckline is, and mark it, and then right sides together, matching the marking you put on your main. Let's pin it in place along the neckline. You want to pin it in place, stretching it ever so slightly to fit. Make sure that the front corner matches, so the front corner here matches the corner of your hood. So what I like to do, I like to pin the center back and then the corners here. Like so. And then pin all around, stretching the hood ever so slightly to fall nicely on the neck opening. And then we're going to stitch it in place with a quarter of an inch seam allowance. So this is what it looks like pinned. See it? So let's go ahead and stitch all around. Again, this is the Henley style with a hood option. Beautiful. So this is it for these steps for today if you're doing the hood. If you're doing the solid front, so not the opened front, the solid front here, then you would have overlapped the hood half an inch, basted it in place, and then sew it all around the neck opening. Okay, so this is one. I'll set this one aside, and then I'll go grab the other options that I've made. The other two shirts that I've made are one simple one with a solid front and a solid back that I'm going to grab right now, and with a neckband. And the third one has one swoosh instead of 3, and a solid front that I'm going to do right now, and the solid back, because all of mine have a solid back. So like I said, right sides together, grab your piece that has the swoosh, if you have one with a swoosh, and match the shoulders. And this one will have a neckband. Actually both these options will have a neckband, and we'll add that tomorrow. So for today, this one has no hood, and so I'm just sewing the shoulder seams. Super easy step. If you're not adding a hood, today you're basically sewing just shoulder seams. So a great opportunity to do more than one shirt. Okay, this is one of the shirts. Super cute. And then the third one has a panel for the front. Look how cute. Just a solid panel for the front. And then I've put together 2 scraps of panels to create one back, like a solid back. So this one is super simple. It will be just a t-shirt with a neckband, because Kiddo requested this specific panel to be a short sleeve t-shirt. Okay, and I cannot disregard his desires. And I did say, this is French terry, this is not cotton lycra. Are you sure you want a short sleeve t-shirt? Yes, yes, I do, I like it. So take it from my kiddo. He likes short sleeve French terry. Don't say no to short sleeves if you're grabbing some French terry from SewFlow. Okay. So again, it's the shoulder sleeve, and tomorrow we'll add the neckband on both of these and the hood binding on the other one. So this is 1, this is 2 with the hood, and then 1 should be on the back of the chair if it didn't fall. And somewhere, my third shirt. Oh, here it is. And this is the third one. So snap a picture of your reeds with the shoulder seam sewn and the hood added, if you're adding a hood, and post it in the day 2 photo comments of the Sew Along album. You'll find the album in the Backstage Backroom on Facebook. If you're doing more than one, I do ask you to put 1 picture of each sew. This way, for the last day especially, I can give you 1 entry in the drawing for each shirt instead of giving you just 1 if you've sewn 3. So post a picture of every single one you've made separate from the rest of them. I will see you back here tomorrow when we'll be working on the neckline. Talk to you soon. Bye.